And parents, well, they shape us, right? For better or for worse. Sometimes with love, sometimes with manipulation, sometimes with a little bit of both, and sometimes in ways that we just can't even recognize until we're adults and we struggle with our own challenges and relationships. The type of influence that seeps in against your own will. That's the bigger conversation that I kind of want to dive into today through the story of Unknown Number and through what psychology, survivors, and lived experience tells us about manipulative parenting. Now, I do want to give you a heads up. This does have spoilers, so if you haven't seen the documentary, make sure you go watch that before you come back and listen to this. Okay, so it begins with a single text, then another text, then dozens, which turns into thousands of text messages. For 13-year-old Lauren, this became a nightmare that just would not end. Now, these weren't harmless little insults or jokes. They were vile. They threatened her. They included personal details that only someone close to her would know. Some were of sexual nature. Others were meant for her to take her own life. Really disgusting stuff. And the harassment didn't just stop with Lauren. Her boyfriend, Owen, was also targeted by the same anonymous numbers. And other classmates eventually kept getting swept into suspicion, some even accused on and off as the case dragged on for months. This is where the investigation escalated from local police to the FBI before the source was finally traced. But here's where it got worse. Before the case was cracked, suspicion turned on other kids, right? This is where the case got a little out of control and it started ripping apart the community. Imagine being 13 or 14 years old, facing interrogation for something you didn't even do. It sounds very intimidating and it caused a lot of trauma to these kids. The harassment, quite frankly, destroyed reputations. It poisoned friendships. It made kids feel like criminals when they were victims. And parents just felt very powerless as their kids suffered, either because they were receiving these messages themselves or because they were being interrogated by the FBI. This was no longer seen as regular teen drama. This was treated as a major cyber stalking case. For months, investigators chased theories, but every lead turned into a dead end. And then the digital trail finally revealed the truth. The culprit wasn't even a peer. It wasn't a jealous classmate. It wasn't a